It's time once again to get on the hot seat with Wally George. This is it, the most talked about talk show on television and the most imitated. Join Wally as he grills those liberal loonies and tells you the way it really is. And now, here he is, that hard-hitting award-winning voice of conservatism, patriotism, and controversy. The one and only Wally George.
It's going to be great. Yeah. Now, for our final guest, a familiar face, David, introduce him.
Next up, we have Hot Seat's favorite, most bizarre guest, Rudi Krause.
Okay.
Rudi, tonight I understand you're taking on the First Lady of the nation.
That's right,
now,
Nancy Reagan.
Rudy, I cannot believe you. I heard you backstage. Can you bet? Rudi Krause says that Nancy Reagan, our First Lady, is a hypocrite.
That's right.
Now, wait, Rudi, how can you say that about our great First Lady, Nancy Reagan? Why do you call her a hypocrite?
Okay, it's very simple. Nancy Reagan has started this Just Say No program.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with a Just Say No program, but Nancy Reagan just saying no is not psychologically effective to the younger generation. Maybe someone like Berlin saying, no more drugs. Don't tell me that you love me while you're flying away. No more drugs. Don't think that you can lie to me night and day. No more drugs. No more drugs.
Rudy, wait a minute.
I think that would do it, Rudi.
Rudi, do you mean tell me that you think that is better than the Just Say No program?
That is more persuasive than Nancy Reagan just saying no, and my program, Getting High is Getting Low, is more persuasive than all of them. Now, Nancy's Just Say No program, the child says, should I use drugs? Nancy says no. The child says why? Nancy says, because I said so.
No,
that doesn't answer the question.
That isn't it, Rudi, that isn't it at all. Wait, all Nancy Reagan is trying to do is to get people, when they're trying to be enticed into taking drugs, to just say no.
Okay.
I think that's a good program.
Okay, now check it out. Nancy tells everyone to just say no, yet Nancy says yes to the alcohol, beverage, and consumer industry, yes to Budweiser, yes to Miller, yes to the un-American tobacco industry, yes to R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Corporation, yes to Brown and Williamson. That's the first step towards stopping drugs in the United States, is stop the drugs that are legal drugs.
Wait a minute, Rudi, I happen to know that Nancy Reagan does not smoke and she doesn't drink beer, so how can you say that?
What Nancy is in a position to do something about these drugs that are legal, alcohol and cigarettes. And what does Nancy do? Omission of action is admission of willful participation in these legal drugs perpetuating.
Now, Rudi, hold on a minute. Rudi, you talk about Nancy Reagan being a hypocrite. Rudi, you are a hypocrite because I understand you took drugs yourself. What do you think about that?
Wait a minute.
Isn't that right?
Wait a minute. Please.
Is that right, Rudi?
That's true. That's correct. I used to smoke marijuana. I stopped in 1978. Quiet. Shh. No, I'm not a hypocrite because I don't use drugs anymore. I stopped in 1978. That's when I was just a kid, irresponsible for the things I did.
You also took cocaine.
Once. And I realized that coke is no joke. I was using marijuana and the marijuana led to coke. And I stopped. That scared me. That was in 1978, and I haven't used it since.
Well, I have news for you, Rudi.
And I don't use alcohol either.
Hold on. Rudi, I have news for you. Nancy Reagan has never smoked or taken cocaine at all. And then, Rudy, hold it. And then, Rudy, hold it. Shh. Hold down the audience. All right, now you also are picking on Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan for their association with Frank Sinatra. Now, why are you doing that?
That is correct. Ronald and Nancy are hobnobbing with the mob. That's right. And I can substantiate my meritorious contention with this book called Dark Victory. Ronald Reagan, MCA, and the mob. And we can look in the index. Look in the index, and under F for flunky, we see Frank Sinatra. And this book has been well documented. It's by Dan E. Moldia. He's investigated criminal activity, criminal organizations since 1974.
Rudy, are you trying to tell me that you're accusing Ronald Reagan of being in with the mob?
They're always inviting Frank Sinatra to the mob, to the White House,
hey,
and we know.
Let me see that book.
And we know.
Let me see that book. Give me that book.
Trust him.
Now, you see this book? You see it? Get out of here.
Wait a minute. You can throw that book over your back, but you can't throw truth over your back.
I'll tell you, that's nothing but a rotten smear.
Here's another.
Wait a minute. That's only.
The mafia is ingrained in the alcohol beverage industry. Why are they allowing? Why is Ronald Reagan allowing alcohol advertisements to subvert the psychology of the future generations of America? That would be my first dictate as a president of the United States. I would prohibit all pro-alcohol propaganda. Prohibit pro-alcohol propaganda.
Rudy.
But they'll invite Frank Sinatra up to maybe have some Ripple wine. Ronald Ripple Reagan. You know, they were probably under the influence of alcohol when they got together with Margaret Thatcher and bombed Gaddafi.
Oh, now come on.
In the night.
Give me. Hey, Rudy, I think it is terribly irresponsible of you to try to link Ronald Reagan to the mob. He's the greatest president we had, and you're wrong.